right, everybody, welcome back to the Sad Dad Games podcast. This is another episode of Eric's Indie Corner, where I, Eric, get to talk about some of my favorite indie games, and I drag my friends along with me and make them talk as well about indie games. So, I am Eric.
I'm Shan.
I'm Tucker.
Right, and today, you guys, what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about an indie game called Warhammer 40k Boltgun. This is one I've been super excited about. It's a boomer shooter FPS, and it was made by... I need to practice pronouncing things before Auric Digital.
Okay.
Or it's developed by Auric Digital. It's AUROCH. Auric, right? Auric, maybe.
Maybe. So why are they called boomer shooters if it's like a Gen X thing?
I don't know why they're called boomer shooters. Someone else Google that.
It's just like the oldest generation they could think of.
But
and
I think
offensive.
Yeah, I think that the concept. So the concept of a boomer shooter is like old school Doom, Wolfenstein, things of that era, like the really early days of first person shooters. And Warhammer 40. I'm just going to call it Boltgun. Boltgun harkens back to that kind of era of shooters.
Is it a boomer shooter because your gun goes a boom?
Is because the gun goes a boom. You know what?
The
guns
stick.
do go boom,
it's a boom
in
stick.
this game.
Yeah.
But that does get to what we were
much
talking
booming.
about, which is before the start. This is clearly a Doom clone.
It's not shy
you know
about it at all.
It's basically a
Warhammer...
shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah. It's just a long way of saying Doom is the title of this game.
It's a very it's just a Doom, like an old school Doom game with some modern tweaks with the Warhammer 40k coat of paint over the top of it. It's very much old school Doom, and it's fantastic for that. It knows exactly what it is and what its inspirations are, and isn't shy about that. So yeah, great game. Released on May 23rd, 2013, and is just a good time. So we're going to break it down a little bit, talk about story, talk about gameplay, and then talk about visuals and sound, as we always sometimes do here on the Indie Corner. So story is a hard one to unpack for Warhammer things. Anyone who is even tangentially familiar with the Warhammer universe knows that Warhammer lore is deep and vast and bonkers. There's so much of it, and it's all very complex. So much so that before I played this game, I have a brother-in-law. His name is Mo. I'm going to send him this episode. Hey, Mo. And he is a big fan of Warhammer. And so I was like, hey, man, before I play this game, I want to understand the story because I'm probably going to do an episode on the podcast about it. I want to have an understanding so I can go into this and not sound like an idiot when I'm talking about what I'm talking about. So can you give me like the spark notes, the abridged version of like just some basic Warhammer 40k stuff? And his response was, that doesn't exist. So there is no spark notes version of Warhammer. It's all deep and complex. And so he sent me a series of voice messages. There must have been like 30 of them, and they were all like 5 minutes long. And I listened to all of them, and it is a deep, fascinating lore that I don't even begin to fully grasp. But I have it all saved on my phone, thanks to Mo. You really helped a brother out. It's just good stuff.
So is it like, if I understand right, Warhammer 40k, it's like tabletop D&D, right?
Kind of, yeah. So there's a game, and I don't know the rules of the game. I'm sure that I'm wrong about a lot of the details of this. I just want to preface everything that I say with that. If I'm wrong, let me know exactly how I am in the comments. Or
I feel like they have a very passionate community that would just tear anybody apart that says anything a little bit wrong.
Also, I'm gonna, like I
we
said,
need to bring Henry Cavill on here to explain Warhammer to us.
He's our next guest.
So Henry,
very
if
good
you're
at
listening,
Warhammer.
So, but yeah,
and he's
Warhammer,
adapting is it a TV show? He's got the
I don't know. He's
rights
doing a
to
project.
adapt it.
Yeah, it's either a TV show or a movie. But I love Henry Cavill. I have a huge man crush on him. I think he's a fantastic actor, and that jawline, hoo boy. But
good for him.
So yeah, it is a tabletop kind of a game. You get your figurines, you paint your figurines, and you know, they do battle, and that's about as much as I understand.
My brother-in-law does this whole thing, and he does it every week with his friends. Paints them. He has the whole thing. Has pizza every week. Yeah.
It really seems like something I love. Obviously, I love figurines. I love crafts. It really seems like the kind of thing that if I had more time, I'd be super into.
Remember in college when we would have craft night? It was just a bunch of dudes having craft night.
I would make like custom action figures, which is almost as I like had a like epoxy resin mold that I would mold on top of existing action figures, and then I would paint them. And it's a miracle I got anyone to marry me. I don't know how that happened.
Didn't we go get
we
like
went to
paint
Walmart.
swaths from like Home Depot to make little pixel
No, it was
arts?
Walmart.
Oh, that's right. We
okay.
did the pixel art things. Shan made a Mega Man.
We made Mega Man. I made Link.
That's right. We got those paint swatches from Walmart or like Lowe's or something, and we made.
So we went to Walmart. We stole a bunch of
Walmart where that
paint
Walmart
swatches.
employee yelled at Eric for knocking a towel off the shelf.
Well, sometimes you knock towels off shelves. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to Walmart, snatched a bunch of color swatches, and we cut them out in 1 inch by 1 inch, which was a terrible scale.
It took way too long. We thought that the paint swatches would just like already be squares. We're like, we'll just go get them. They'll be perfect squares. We brought them home, and they were not perfect squares. They were not ready for pixel art. Yeah.
So we cut them into squares, and then we took poster board, and we I made Link to the Past, Link with his sword up in the air. Tucker made
and
Mega
with the
Man.
1 inch by 1 inch ones, it was huge. It was like 3 or 4 feet tall. It was like
yeah. I think I had to get like a second poster board and tape it to the top for the sword.
Yeah. We didn't really plan it out very well. Yeah.
I can't remember all the other crafts. I know that I think we went through a perler bead phase and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We had so many phases.
Just a bunch of guys hanging out doing crafts. Yeah. We
The
should have got
women were very
Warhammer
into
figurines. At least that's sort of masculine. Like, so yeah. I don't super understand the lore of Warhammer, but it is very deep. And from what I understand, is specific to this game, Boltgun. I wrote it down because I'm gonna just read verbatim what I wrote down because that's the only way that I could remember it. And again, in the comments, let me know in what ways I'm wrong and why I'm wrong and how I'm wrong. Or ask Mo, because I'm sure he'll be in the comments as well, correcting everything wrong that I say. All right, so in this game, in Boltgun, you play as Malum Credo, a space marine serving the Emperor, who is basically like a big brain in the jar sitting on top of a throne. It's the most powerful being that's ever lived, and he is the king of space.
Isn't this an episode of Futurama?
Yeah, maybe, sure. It sounds kind of like it. So you are a space marine.
What are all the brains? There's like a Richard Nixon brain. Isn't he one of the popular ones?
Oh, yeah, all the heads in the jar. And the Leonard Nimoy head in the jar. Yeah.
Oh, heads in jars. Not brains. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
So King of Space is such an incredible oversimplification. I know that any Warhammer fans are going to get so mad at me for this oversimplification. But
they're going to hate us so much for this episode.
It's just, listen, I have nothing but nice things to say about Warhammer and about this game. I just don't have the breadth of knowledge to discuss it all in detail. So you play as Malum, you're serving the Emperor, and you are sent on a mission after the heretic Ordo Malleus. And he's doing some shady experiments on Graia, which is like a planet. It's a planet. He's doing some shady experiments on that planet.
You're doing this lore a lot of favors.
I know it's being and it's a planet that's being monitored by the Emperor and his space marines, and so those experiments have caused some kind of a rift to open up and has allowed the forces of chaos to pour out, which is basically space hell. And it's your job to tear crap up, murder everything, and put a stop to all that nonsense. So that is the incredibly accurate and really descriptive lore of what's going on in this game. And this is, out of all of the videos that we ask for comments, this is the one that I am most interested to have comments. Please engage with this. Tell me how I'm wrong. I'll be in the. I really do want to know. Correct me. I'd love to have a Space Marines conversation with you guys.
I'd love to see if we never get comments. I'd love to see if we could get through this video without comments of people having the restraint to not correct us on everything that we've said. Me. Because I know
I don't have the time to tell you how you're wrong.
It's going to bother me if I don't. It's going to bother me if I don't. Yeah. No, they're just certain types of fans associated with certain types of franchises, it's like they're gonna be sticklers, and you gotta respect their IP. And it not having one of them here with us to help guide us through this, I feel like we're gonna get raked over the
I
coals.
should have invited Mo, you guys. I feel bad. Mo, when you inevitably listen to this, I'm sorry I didn't invite you, but you can be our backup in the comments to help me look less stupid. But yeah, so lore is very deep. But one of the things I do really like about the story in this game is, much like old school Doom games, if you want to completely ignore the story and just explode a bunch of monsters and bad guys, you can totally do that. It's like the story is very much in the background, and this game is much more about gameplay. But there is a story with lore that is present for fans of the series who do want to have those little nuggets of lore in that story. So I think you get the best of both worlds from Boltgun, is you get a satisfying story for fans, but an ignorable story for people who just want to blow stuff up.
For the ones that want Doom.
For the ones that want Doom, yeah. Just Doom with bigger armor and lots of skulls. Yeah, so gameplay is exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's you run around and you shoot stuff. Your character moves faster than he reasonably should based on his size and weight.
Yeah, just like Doom. You're just flying
like Doom,
across the map.
moving around so fast, and you're like, there's no way a man wearing this much armor could be moving this quickly, but here we are shooting demons. Yeah, so it's a great game. You run around, you shoot stuff, and that's, it has a lot of those lock-in key, I want to say puzzles, but they're not really puzzles, where it's like,
just
you can't go through this door until you find the red key, and then you got to go through the area and find the red key. So
it's Doom.
It's just Doom. Yeah, it's especially the main campaign is very much Doom. It does have a lot of modern sensibilities to it. Like the gameplay is a lot smoother than Doom. You can look up and down, which is something you can't do in the original Doom.
Can you jump?
You can jump. You can clamber on top of things. So if you jump up to something that just reaches your chest, you'll automatically pull yourself up onto that ledge. And so it's a little bit more mobility focused than there is in like old school Doom. Also, the environments are more geometrically complex than anything you would have found in that era. I'd say that it's like the geometry of the levels is somewhere in the realm of like a PS2 era game, where it still kind of harkens to an older time, but it's being a lot more complex than original Doom ever could have been. So yeah, you just kind of run around and shoot stuff. You have lots of different great weapons. You also have a very cool chainsword, which is exactly as awesome as it sounds. It's a chainsaw that is the sword, and you get close to enemies and you just push the button and they turn into red soup. It's fantastic.
You can't have a Doom clone without like having the most violent and creative weapons that has ever existed. That's just what makes Doom Doom. It's just like, what is this galactic weapon that can melt people's faces off? The new Doom game coming up, just like, what was it? Like,
rad as hell.
Yeah, right? Like, aren't you like throwing
for that.
skulls into your gun and like blowing people up with that? It's like, what the hell?
There's one gun, and so the new Doom game upcoming, Doom Dark Ages is what it's called.
That's it. Yeah.
And there's one gun in the trailer where instead of reloading it with ammo, you like grab a skull and you put it in there and it like crunches it up and then it shoots up the pieces of skull out as bullets. And I was like, that's the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, of course that's what it is. Why have bullets when you can shoot skull shards at your bad guys? Like, of course that's something that Doom would do.
I love like the advent of modern gaming. We get like Doom and Mortal Kombat that like are trying to scare the pearl clutchers into canceling video games.
Yeah, they're just like, do it, I dare you, I'll shoot you with my skull gun.
I'll rip this person's skull out in their spines. Just like, I don't know, it's some of the grossest visuals, and it's like, here, take a screenshot of this, I want you to show it to your mom, and it's just scare the hell out of her. I don't know. It's fantastic. They have no scruples.
Yes, 100%. There is something about like overly gratuitous, like kind of violence that you would find in old school Doom or in this game Warhammer 40K. That is like, it kind of comes around full circle to like being funny and almost kind of adorable, where it's just like, it's just such a ridiculous, like you shoot someone with a bullet and they just like explode into more blood than could ever be inside of one person.
Cool.
It's a happy tree fence effect.
Yeah. What was that, Tucker?
The Happy Tree Friends effect. Of
The
just,
Happy
like,
Tree
it's adorable.
Oh my
But
god.
fantastically.
So violent.
Yeah.
You just yes, and so the Happy Tree Friends effect is a good way of putting it. Yeah, Boltgun has every enemy has pints and pints and pints of blood that would make Scorpion for Mortal Kombat blush. Like just so much blood, and to a point where it's silly almost. Mm-hmm. But they and to Shan's point again with like the loading the skull into the gun and just being as over the top as possible and as guns shooty as possible. The guns in this game are fantastic. The titular gun, the bolt gun that you get, it shoots little explosive bolts. It's like an automatic, like it's an assault rifle, but instead of shooting bullets, it shoots tiny missiles that explode on contact. And that's like the first gun that you get. That's like where the game starts. It says, here's your starter weapon. It's an automatic rocket launcher. Like that, and then the game only goes up from there. The shotgun that you get is like the shells that you load. Normally in a video game where you load a shotgun shells, you're like, the character uses their thumb and they like pump it in. These shotgun shells take up their whole hand. It's like a fist-sized shotgun shell that they like slot into the gun. And so everything is larger than life. Everything is ridiculous. Everything is overly violent and gratuitous. And it's just a good time. It's extremely cathartic to just run around and shoot all these, space monsters and other space marines and just explode everything into giant piles of blood.
Soup. Yeah.
Just people soup and monster soup. It's just a good time.
It's like the bathtub of people soup from Breaking Bad when he melts them with acid. Yes. It's like that.
The whole game is like that. That's the amount of blood that you'd find in like one of the early enemies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it only gets more so from there. So yeah, gameplay is great. There's a story campaign that's moderately lengthy for a first-person shooter of this ilk. So that's a good time. But there's also a horde mode that is just like wave-based survival. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a horde mode. So if you're itching for more things to shoot in a less structured environment, got a horde mode in there too. Played a few rounds of that. Lots of fun. And there was a post-launch DLC called Forges of Corruption, which adds a few more story chapters, which are also just as good, if not better. In that one, you get a proper rocket launcher, which you don't get in the main story. So Forges of Corruption has a actual rocket launcher, which is so explodey. And you can also enter like cheat codes and stuff as well. So if you want to have infinite life, infinite ammo, you can just kind of go in and have fun and go nuts.
Yeah.
Just no shame. Bring back cheat codes that give you God mode.
And listen, in a game like this that is deliberately trying to inspire those retro sensibilities, it's like, yeah, of course there's cheat codes. You want infinite ammo? Great. You want God mode? Sure. Like, just go in and shoot stuff and have fun. And so, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with some good old-fashioned cheat codes.
Cheat CC is coming back.
It's coming back.
We're back, baby.
This game came out and all the GameFAQs people are like, oh, finally, I've got something to write about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, our business is saved.
Oh, man. So gameplay is pretty much tops for me. It knows exactly what it is, and it executes almost perfectly on that front. So yeah, moving on to visuals and sound. Visuals and sound of this game are great. It has a deliberately kind of pixelized effects. So you're moving around in a 3D environment, but all of the textures are very pixelized. They're very low resolution. So the geometry of the levels is, like I said, fairly complex level of like a PS2-ish era game. But the textures are all like old school PC, PS1 era. And all of the characters are two-dimensional pixel sprites. The hands and all of the weapons, like your hands that are holding the gun and all of the weapons that are being held are all, pixel graphics. And so there's this fun kind of old school flatness to everything, even though everything is a 3D
billboardy almost.
Yeah, the nice billboarding effect of the enemies. So if it's a 2D sprite, so it doesn't matter which way you rotate, the bad guys are always looking right at you because it's just a 2D thing. So it has this fun modern gameplay with a retro aesthetic, which is it's just a great time. Very, very effective visually. And they also have a bunch of fun sliders in the menu where you can go in and you can adjust like the color palette. You can adjust like how pixel, like the resolution, if you want everything to be like nice and clean and sharp, so it looks more like a modern game and you can visually kind of see everything a little more clearly, or you can really turn those pixels down and make everything look like it's running on a very old, poorly spec'd PC with really big chunky pixels and a lot of like dithering and hard lines in between the color gradations and stuff like that. So they have a lot of fun sliders to really tickle those that nostalgia for old school PC shooters. And then sound design, kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but sound design is really great. All of the sound effects for the guns are really crunchy. All of the blood spurting sound effects and, the dismembered bodies and the squelching and the blood and guts everywhere. All of the sound effects are very effective, very satisfying, and they do a good job of making you feel like a powerful space marine. Also, they have this you have thundering footsteps because you're this giant space marine. You're basically a walking tank. So every step you take, you hear this toom, 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 of just these big thundering, which again makes you feel very powerful, just pounding around this battlefield and pumping enemies full of lead and explosives. And it does a really good job of empowering the character, making them feel powerful. And with the sound design, the one area that I feel like it maybe falls a little bit short is the music. I think the music was good, but fairly unmemorable. It fit the moments and punctuated the kind of what was going on and was suitably pulse poundy. But as soon as the game was over, it kind of left my brain. So not bad music, but some indie games are real earworms and really, listen to those songs outside of the context of playing the game, and not so much with this one, but not bad music anyways.
I feel like it should be like Sonic, right? Where it's like you just can't greenlight it unless the music's there. And it's like if you're doing a Doom clone, it's about no story, guns, and music.
Yeah. Well, and the music's definitely not bad. It's good music. It just didn't work its way into my brain the way that some other really... the bar is set too high for me. Doom 2016, Doom Eternal are some of the more recent shooters that I've played like this. And those games have absolutely spectacular soundtracks. And so maybe I'm being a little unfair towards Boltgun because those are the games that are more recently in my mind. But yeah, solid game, really great sound design, really great visual design. I just had a great time with it. Super fun stuff. Anything else? Do we have any other things we want to talk about before we move on to the end card here? All right, great. We'll take it to the end. Sorry. Put a pin here. Cut that last stammering bit of me out, and I'm just going to jump in the end. Yeah. All right, so Boltgun will take you about 10 to 15 hours depending on your level of completion and if you play the DLC or not. The DLC adds another couple hours on there. Available platforms, you can get it on pretty much everything. It's available on Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Windows consoles. It's $21.99 for the base game and $24.99 coupled with the DLC, which also... $21.99 is a very weird price for a game. Why not just $19.99 or $24.99? That's a complete side note, but it's $21.99 for the base game. So, yeah.
Well, feels like they should have done 40,000 pennies, and that would have been the perfect price.
That would have been the
was it
perfect
developed
price.
in another country and they wanted to hit like a specific baseline amount of money on every sell? Maybe something like that.
Well,
First
that's
UK.
possible.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But anyways, not a bad price for the game. It's a good time, and you've got that horde mode, so you can keep coming back to it. It's not just the story campaign, so lots of fun. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us today. Make sure to check out our regular series every Thursday. Eric's Indie Corner. Nope, backwards again. Regular series every Monday. Eric's Indie Corner every Thursday. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, here on YouTube. And you can also find us on Instagram. We've got an Instagram. Check us out there. We post fun stuff all the time. And I post my daily data scores every single day, so check those out as well. And yeah, again, let me know in the comments how wrong I am about the deep and interesting lore of Warhammer 40k, because I definitely got it wrong. So let me know.
Eric, we need to boost engagement and comments, dislikes, I guess, and whatever. So if you can quickly shout out as many incorrect things about the story and lore as you can right before we...
Oh, yeah. Easy. So
it's about this
We need
guy
some
named
rage bait.
Dumbledore.
I was just going to say, it's about this guy named Dumbledore Calrissian trying to bring the One Ring to Hogwarts. Yeah. I don't even know enough about the lore to get it wrong on purpose. Like, so you play as a Space Marine named Master Chief. And I think that there's some portals that they open up on Mars that lead to Heck and Hell. I can say Hell that lead to Helheim.
You said
there we
hell
go.
like 5 different times.
Well, no, it's not that I was afraid of saying hell. I was trying to be intentionally ridiculous. So, and it leads to a portal to Helheim where you have to fight the Nazgul. And they turn, they turn into Dementors, and you find the One Ring, and you have to take it to the X Mansion where Dumbledore lives.
Yeah,
nailed it.
There it is.
Was that good? Is that joke good enough to keep in, or are we going to cut that? That felt really.
Wait, that was a joke. That felt so accurate.
100%. It's exactly what it is.
I am buying this right now. Where's my credit card?
I feel like I understand all the lore of Warhammer now.
Yeah.
All 40,000 of the lore.
It's
all 40,000 Warhammers.
all of the 40,000 lore. I understand all of it. Yeah.
What is the 40,000 even referencing? We're going to get
40,
so much hate. Let's just pile it on.
Well, that one I do know. It's 40,000 years in the future.
Oh, that's interesting.
That seems really far distance in the
that's
future.
Really, really far in the
Marines.
future.
Yeah, well, that's why
Star Trek was only like, what, a few hundred years in the future, and they had no money, continual peace on Earth.
They're still using hammers in 40,000 years?
Yeah.
Only hammers,
like
that's all they fight with.
They deserve to die.
Just all flying around in space using nothing but hammers.
All right,
everybody.
Let's end this.
I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you for listening. We had a great time, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip. Bye.
On the flippity flip. Bye.
Outro. Bleepity doof, bleepity bloopity blow.